platforms on AM, FM, and online when we announce a player of the game from that night's contest. This year, our player of the game is sponsored exclusively by ServPro of DeWitt County. Remember, ServPro to make it like it never even happened. And find out all the services they provide by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. ServPro of DeWitt Counties is proud to be this year's player of the game, Clinton Maroon, sports sponsor on WHOW.
You can count on AgroLiquid for precision crop nutrition. When you don't get all your potash down in the fall, when weather or market prices change your management strategy, or when you want to balance your fertilizer program with micronutrients, AgroLiquid is ready with the products and application flexibility you want for in-season crop nutrition and the research-proven results you need. AgroLiquid. Apply less. Expect more. Find a retailer at agroliquid.com.
DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air and online 24 hours a day. The latest local news stories are heard every hour on Central Illinois' news station, the Big 1520 AM and 92.3 FM WHOW. Stream live at DeWittDailyNews.com. They're also heard every hour on the station that's your easy choice, 95.9 FM WEZC. And to read the latest local news on your electronic device, including tablets, iPhones, and smartphones, go to DeWittDailyNews.com. DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air, online 24 hours a day.
You're listening to The Morning Show, streamed by clicking the WHOW live icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. My guest on the phone is Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council. And The Morning Show is brought to you by Peterson Insurance in Clinton, your Pekin insurance agent. Catch us on Facebook Live, on YouTube at WHOW TV, and also, of course, live online all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com and our many online platforms. Curt, a good morning to you, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Glad to be starting to get dug out of my house.
Aren't we all? I think it's going to be quite the exercise routine for a lot of us here in the next day or two. But Curt, we appreciate you making time for us, and hopefully you and yours are doing well wherever you may be here in DeWitt County. And Curt, let's start with, we were talking before we got started. Folks may not realize the DeWitt County Development Council, and some may not, but it has a board of directors that's rather influential in terms of, just the direction of the agency, its focus and things of that nature. From your perspective, give us an overview of the DCDC Board and its purpose in the operation of things. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when DCDC was developed, started approximately 15 years ago, it was incredibly important to have representation from all aspects of the county. So in doing that, the county has seats on the board. City of Farmer City, City of Clinton has seats, and then also Chamber of Commerce in both City of Clinton and City of Farmer City both have seats on the board as well. In addition to that, there's we developed some investor classes, so seats. So folks that take a large commitment to supporting economic growth in DeWitt County, local businesses can actually have an investor seat, and there's a few at-large seats as well. So the makeup of the board is critical, and the reason that was come up that way is, if the city of Clinton, as an example, wants to really focus on an area of economic development, they can bring that up in the board. They can vote on those things. They can do whatever they need to do to steer the direction of where DCDC is going. So to me that is critical in the success or lack of success of DCDC. So it takes the involvement of all of those communities and individuals.
Sure. Why is it important to have diverse representation on the board, not just from, communities, but different sectors of those communities? How about that?
Yeah. So, it definitely, certainly from a government perspective, the government has so much impact on local business with specific programs such as TIF programs, business facade programs, things they can do with tax abatements or those types of things. But then it's important to have folks outside of those positions as well. Oftentimes, if we can get someone that's incredibly interested or well versed in digital marketing or online things, or has good connections in and around the area, I mean, those things are important too. So really, we want to have the best talent that we can sit on that board and give us direction on where we want to go. It really is interesting. I've spoken recently with some of the area and out of area other economic development boards, and they're pretty unique in many ways. There's some boards that actually go out and purchase land and then market that land to bring in business. We've never done that. We're not in a position to do that. There's other boards that work. They share local business news, and that's all they do on social media. So it's very much, in some regards, acts as the Chamber of Commerce. So I don't feel that that's necessarily our niche either. But it is interesting to see what some of the area boards are doing. But in terms of representation, it's just critical that we're doing what the county wants us to do. The county government and county individuals.
For sure. So when it comes to the board of the DCDC board, again, our guest is Curt Homann. He's the executive director of the DeWitt County Development Council, and the morning show brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agents in Clinton. Curt, when it comes to the DCDC board, what is their role in the direction of the agency? How much do you keep them informed of what you're doing? How much do they direct you in what you're doing? What's kind of the relationship like there?
Yeah, so it really is. I don't always, certainly confidential business information, I'm not even sharing with the board specific information. So if there's been an inquiry and that organization or that business wants that information to be kept completely confidential, it is. But otherwise, we share. I get direction certainly from the board in terms of direction that they would like to see us go. I'm also making a lot of recommendations and suggestions, and then of course, it has to fit into budgetary needs as well. So, I may say, well, here's a $200,000 program that I think would be beneficial, and it likely would be beneficial, but there isn't funds there to do that. So that seems silly. I don't suggest those things even, but it is a give and take. It is a discussion, and from my perspective, it's good to have that. It's certainly good to have that guidance from all of our partners. There's no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's an important concept as far as even why DCDC was funded. And I really was thinking of this morning prior to DCDC, and I served on that steering committee to help form DCDC. That was at the direction of the county government. They wanted this organization set up, but a county business actually had taken steps to expand their business, and had to contact county government and local city government, and they were getting sent to different people in different places, and they really got frustrated. They actually contacted a nearby county who had an economic development office, and they basically took them from step A to step G in a couple hours time, as opposed to being sent from this person to this person to this person in DeWitt County. Had this person had told me, had they not been a lifelong resident of DeWitt County and kind of suffered through that procedure, that their business, which is a good employer, would now be located in a nearby county.
Oh, really?
And it's important, So, prior to DCDC, maybe we missed some of those opportunities. What we want to be able to do, of course, is to take anyone that's interested in opening a business and making that process as easy as possible on them. So really that was the vision of DCDC 18 years ago when it first began being discussed. And I think today we're do we miss some? We probably do, but we don't want to. We're ready to take on those challenges. So
for sure. So, and it feels like, Curt, DCDC has taken on, I don't want to say very, different forms over the years, but maybe has, shifted its focus, shifted its direction, over the years. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that makes sense, and the discussion with the makeup of our board probably has determined that. So, as city governments or county governments want us to take on different projects, go a little bit different direction, we obviously do that. So I think that's a big part of it. And we're always trying to redefine who we are. It's interesting. What we can do today is a whole lot different than 20 years, and that's all technology based. So early on in DCDC, it was doing company research online and reaching out to companies that may or may not have any interest whatsoever in expanding, may or may not have any interest in expanding to Central Illinois. Whereas now a lot of that can be done digitally. So we're reaching out via a computer to sometimes people we don't even know who we're reaching out to. We put in certain criteria, and those folks are getting targeted ads based on DeWitt County. So a lot has changed. A lot has changed over the years. I've had people, in the community that have wanted us to act more like a chamber. And we really feel like, the Clinton and Farmer City chambers are doing a pretty good job in that area, and we want to be supportive of them, and we certainly support what they're doing. But it's also important for us not to, if they're already doing it, it doesn't make sense for us to waste the resources to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So in that terms, people said, hey, why don't you promote, coupons or for local business, and really we feel like that's probably more of a chamber position. So.
And I venture a guess, and this, we need to wrap this conversation up in just a moment, Curt, but we can dive into this a little bit. I venture a guess there's probably a lot of juggling of, not stepping into someone else's arena, not, overstepping your bounds and basically doing the job that somebody else is already doing. I venture a guess there's a lot of that type of juggling within not just DCDC and the DeWitt County Development Council, but lots of economic groups like the DCDC.
There is. So there's no, and I guess from my perspective and DCDC's perspective, when we have contact with any business that's interested in expanding or staying open, we try to be a resource center. So in many cases, the first thing I'm doing is calling the state of Illinois economic area to find out what programs are available through the state. I'm pretty familiar with what's available locally, so I can see how that will fit into the big picture. So potentially there's a state grant, that can be matched with a local grant, which can be matched with something that the chamber does in terms of helping them do some business promotion or marketing or ribbon cutting or whatever it is. So I try to be the resource to do that. And again, just from you don't want to waste resource and waste time. So if someone's already doing those things well, there's no reason to try to duplicate those. So really it's just the point of contact, knowing what programs are out there and hoping these businesses efficiently work through them. So that is a key.
Definitely. Curt, how do folks learn more about the DCDC, and if they're interested in maybe getting involved, how do they do that?
So the best way to do it is follow our Facebook page is a great way. Also, you can shoot me an email at info@dcbc-illinois.net. Always feel free to call, of course. That's 217-935-5271. That phone will ring to me remotely, certainly. And just, maybe get in touch and we will find a way to make things happen.
Curt Homann is the executive director of the DeWitt County Development Council. My guest on the phone, the WHOW Morning Show is brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Check us out on Facebook Live, our WHOW TV YouTube channel, and of course, live online all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com. More to come on the Morning Show.
FB.org.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network on this Friday. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn steady, beans mostly lower, wheat slightly lower. March corn 6.16 3/4 unchanged. May corn up half a penny, 6.17 3/4. December corn 5.68 3/4, up half a penny. March beans 15.38 1/4, down 6. May beans down 5.5, 15.41 1/2. November beans 13.92 1/2, down 1/4. March wheat 7.49 1/4, down 2 1/2. May wheat down 2 1/4, 7.56. July wheat 7.51, down 1 1/4. March bean meal 435.40, down 170. March bean oil down 14 cents, 65.61. In the livestock market at this hour, February live cattle 141.67, up 7 cents. March feeders down 35 cents, 166.37. And February lean hogs 86.92, up 47 cents. That's a look at the markets on this Friday morning. Jim Taylor.
Getting your pet's needed medications is easy with Covenant Animal Clinic in Clinton.
Yes, very convenient, especially because I live in Bloomington. It always gets delivered right to your door.
I've used the online pharmacy. It's so easy.
Click the Covenant Animal Clinic icon at DeWittDailyNews.com to learn more.
Eagle Ridge Supportive Living Indicator is affordable to everyone. Marketing Director Carla Thomas here, inviting you to schedule your tour by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com and start enjoying supportive living.
The Miller Media Group is looking for someone who's local in sales and wants to advance their career. We have an immediate opening for an account executive who understands the importance of small businesses to our local economy. Just bring your sales expertise to us and we'll train you with above average pay along the way. Prove yourself to us and you could be promoted to sales manager for our radio group with a great compensation package. It all starts with an email to sales@randyradio.com. That's sales@randyradio.com. We're an equal opportunity employer.
You're listening to The Morning Show, streamed by clicking the WHOW live icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. On the phone with us is Curt Homann. He's the executive director of the DeWitt County Development Council. The WHOW Morning Show is brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Catch us on Facebook Live and our YouTube channel at WHOW TV. Of course, live online all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com and our many online platforms corresponding with that as well. Curt, let's dive into some things you're working on as we enter the year 2022. I understand some grant opportunities, some things, some resources online for folks. What's on your radar these days, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. So something I'm particularly excited about for DeWitt County is a database called Intersect Illinois. That's a database for available commercial properties that we can list on there. And really, it's a spot where potential businesses go to look for properties that match their needs. DeWitt County is not represented on that site now. We do have access to that. I've got to get through the training, but that's certainly going to open up doors for purchases or lease, commercial lease space. So it doesn't have to be a sale, but it just lets the world know that we have property available, and if it matches somebody's needs, that's a great option for us. One of the other things I'm excited about as well, it's really difficult for new business sometimes to get started. There's a lot of startup costs, and they don't have a track record, so it's hard to get financial backing of any scale. There is, however, a loan program out there that would be originated through our local lenders in the county, or could be. It would be up to them, but it is specific to startup business. So I'm going through some training on that, and then I'm going to be presenting that loan program to our local lenders. If it seems like a good match for them, I think it would be a great match for DeWitt County and helping us helping us with some business
Sure.
resources.
Absolutely. Definitely. So keep those things in mind. Curt, a few minutes yet still. Anything else you want to mention here this morning that you're working on?
I do. One thing I think it's important that all business and non-for-profits know in the county COVID grants through the county are available. The application, I did post that to our DCDC Facebook page, and those applications are due the end of March. That program is through the county, not specifically through DCDC, but could be a great resource for non-for-profits and local businesses that have not already benefited from COVID relief funds in another way. So it's a pretty easy application, and I would encourage all those that might be interested to take a look at that. I don't know the exact dollar numbers that the county has set aside. I'm not sure that they know the exact dollar numbers either that they've set aside for that program. But it is obviously it's important for businesses and non-for-profits to get their applications in.
Curt, you're beating me to the punch a bit. Literally, I'm going to jump off the phone with you and call Terry Ferguson about that. He's been wanting to, he's been wanting to get in contact with me about that. So that's that's literally on my agenda for as soon as I hang up with you this morning. But that's going to be a great resource for sure. I know the county has been looking at that for some time, and it sounds like all the ducks are in a row and ready to roll there. So, Curt, about a minute left with you, sir. Anything I missed this morning you want to make sure we're informed of today?
You know, I think we talked about an awful lot this morning. I would say that there's not really anything specific on my radar. I hope people were safe, certainly the last few days. And as the weather changes and people are starting to make business plans, expansion plans, need help, need direction, DCDC and Curt Homann is definitely a great resource to help with any of those needs. So sure. I'm working, just to give you an idea, I'm working with someone right now. We're preparing a business plan for a lender as we speak. So they hope to be open up late spring if they can. And so that's one of the other areas that we assist people.
Terrific stuff. Again, Curt, how do folks learn more about the DCDC?
Again, best way, call 217-935-5271. Great way to reach out and talk one-on-one. Otherwise, look for our Facebook page or our website, dcdc-illinois.net.
That is Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council. The morning show brought to you by Peterson Insurance in Clinton, your Pekin Insurance agent. Network news on the way.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton.